making it through that heat wave here along coastal Delmarva, but you can always sit down, chill out in the AC, and join us for more Coast Life. We're your hosts. I'm Leah Rizzo.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. And Leah, you've got, let's call it a growing family at your house.
Yes, in a sense. Earlier this week, I told you that we found a baby turkey in our yard, or what I believe to be a baby turkey. I'm still pretty confident that they're turkeys, not chickens.
We haven't touched base with an ornithologist just yet.
Not yet, but it seems as though they have multiplied. There is now 3 baby turkeys just living it up in our backyard, which again, I'm still not sure like where they came from, where this nest may have been. But yeah, they're so cute. They're so much fun to just watch run around. They actually, right now, they're sort of in the tweet stage where they're just making like little chirpy sounds, but
perhaps the twiddly diddly dee stage?
Eventually they'll get to the
You happen to know for sure whether this is a turkey or a chicken or a condor, let us know.
I looked up to make sure that they weren't turkey vultures, because there are some turkey vultures around the house, and I was like, oh, well, maybe they're those, but those are usually like white and fluffy, so.
All right, now what we know
just watching the wildlife.
Now what we know is that those are real, but artificial intelligence has created a lot of problems for people. Then we talk about it all the time. I saw online today though somebody put could we get a button, and they were specifically talking for Pinterest in this case, but I think I'd like it for everything. Could we get a button that just says exclude all AI so that you don't get fooled into thinking like, look at this home trend and look at this hairstyle.
If you remember a few weeks ago, I went on my Pinterest rant that nothing makes me more angry when I'm on Pinterest, and I'm looking for hair inspo, and every single photo is an AI generated person. And you're like, it's already bad enough when you use celebrity inspiration and you're like, I want this hairstyle, but really what you want is to look like that celebrity. Like, it's even worse with AI because they're not celebrities, but they're not even real people. And you're like, I want to look like that though, but you're not gonna because they're not real.
And then your hairstylist is like, yeah, that's not a thing hair can actually do.
Right.
Like hair will not make that shape. Also, like, there's just some things, I love to look at old houses, different styles of interior decorating. I'm a big dork that way. And sometimes you'll see all this stuff and it looks great and you're like, wait, that's not even possible. Like, you can't even, like, what it would take to have created what's in this room can't even be done. So I'd like to just see what people have actually created, because that might be something that could be reproduced.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like when Pinterest was really at its hottest, so was DIY everything. And so not only did it give you inspiration, but usually it came with a link to a tutorial somewhere and recipes somewhere. And so it really was a way to feel like you could be both inspired and then accomplish what you were seeing.
Okay, and we need to take a tangent here because you mentioned recipes. And as we are getting rid of things like the AI, we don't need it button, I also want a recipe button that takes out the 45-minute story about how your Chilean grandmother used to make this dish back in 1752, and then, she trekked the thing across the seas to the Americas.
Yep.
I just want the recipe. Tell me the ingredients I need, the order to put those ingredients together in, so I can make my meal in a timely manner and I don't have to scour through War and Peace to figure out what we're making food-wise.
Nothing will turn me off from a recipe faster than if there is no jump to recipe button at the top of the blog. If I don't see it there, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not using that one. I'm going to go find another recipe. Yeah. And in the time that it takes me to find another recipe, I probably could have just scrolled to the bottom.
And by the way, most of these writers aren't exactly Anthony Bourdain. They're not bringing something that like is just so, you need to read it and get immersed in. Most of the time, it's just a really long gobbledygoosh of nothing. Yeah. All right, and since we're doing fun things here, one of the things that happens a lot around our office, we do talk about different reality shows. In fact, one of our greats, Zoe Stamen, who works for us, she's convinced not only will she go on Survivor someday, she will win it. And it made me think about what reality show would you want to be on? What is most suited to maybe your skill set? What would be the most fun? What are you thinking? Because for me, right away, 2 things are out. Anything where I'm going to be hungry, which is your Survivors and things like that. And like, there's never going to be a fear factor situation. I'm not eating gross stuff. I don't eat real food, let alone stuff that people. I'm not eating scorpions. I'm not even eating broccoli. So we're in a different realm.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on like no fear factor for me. That just has no interest for me. I'm kind of with Zoe. I feel like Survivor, especially back when I was in like high school, I was all about Survivor. And I just feel like the games would be fun. Like, I feel like it would just be kind of fun.
So let's run you through the paces here. What are your outdoor skills?
I can start a fire, I think. I can definitely cook, so like I could boil water, because you win food if you win the challenges.
Yeah.
So like,
so are you a good logic puzzle person?
Not necessarily a logic puzzle person, but I'm stubborn, so I think I could do a lot of the physical ones, where just like sheer will will get you through it.
Your way through it, and
I'm a personality pick, that's for sure. I'm definitely high morale, so I feel like I could get to the end, but I might not win it out in the end, because I feel like you have to be a little vicious too to actually win Survivor. Like,
you never know though. Sometimes it turns out like as everybody else is turning on each other, the person that is just affable and gets along with everybody gets some votes, and they end up atop everything.
But I was a Girl Scout. I feel like I can handle
you got
being
a few
outside.
merit badges that might help you get through.
Exactly.
For me, again, I'm not trying to be living a hard life, so I want to do the circle, where I'm going to have air conditioning, and whether you go on that show as yourself or you pretend to be somebody else is always the question. I think I would probably just go on as myself. As I've watched that show, one of the things people get caught up on is when they try to be somebody else and then they get into one of the challenges. And so it'll be like a guy pretending to be a girl, but then they have to make a cake, and everybody's like, no woman made that cake. That thing looks like a disaster. So I think that I would try to stick with myself, since I have at least a nominally interesting, backstory. I could say I've been to cool things and done stuff.
Yeah, you've done a lot.
I think that would be the move.
Okay. I think the other fun one for me would be like what not to wear from back in the day with Stacey and Clinton. Oh, I would let them just obliterate my self-esteem and my morale, and then get like a $500 shopping spree in New York City.
Well, the great thing about that is here on this show, you get your outfits curated for you, so you have exactly what to wear.
That is so true. I never have to worry about it, thanks to our friends at Water Lily Boutique. So if you've been loving what I'm wearing lately, which I know I have, you can always just shoot me a quick message and be like, oh my gosh, I loved the dress you were wearing yesterday. And I'll say thanks, and I'll guide you in the right direction. Definitely be on the lookout for some 4th of July looks that are going to be coming up.
Of course, got to get the 4th of July looks in too. Yes. It's going to be a big weekend that weekend.
Yeah, I'll just say one thing: sequins. So be on the lookout for that. If you have firework inspiration for your 4th of July party, I got you covered with our friends at Water Lily. But Charlie, we got a show to get to. Let's see what's coming up today on Coast Life. Can't get through a Thursday without spilling a little tea, spilling a little bit of drama. This one, we're back to some family drama, and you don't want to miss it.
From stylish sandals to breezy accessories, we're talking what's trending this summer at Vernon Powell. Your perfect warm weather look, just a step away.
And big eyes, full stomachs. We're talking food with Benvenuto. You will not want to miss what they've brought in today.
Oh, no, you won't. All that fun and more is coming up today on Coast Life.
Coast Life is sponsored by BB Healthcare, Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, Preston Automotive Group, Shell Brothers, and the Parker Group. This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by Vernon Powell.
Looking for a style refresh? Your next summer obsession might start from the ground up. With a fresh season comes fresh looks at Vernon Powell in Rehoboth. I'm here with the president. We have Joe Wright. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing great. Thanks for coming.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me. And Joe's going to tell us all about the newest and hottest summer trends for this season. Nothing quite says summer like stepping in with some flip-flops here.
Yes, flip-flops. Let's start with flip-flops.
Yes.
So it's basically a staple for the beach, the pool. And we have a lineup this year. It's great. Lots of color, lots of arch support. So what we have behind us is Olokai. Olokai has arch support, and it's a comfortable flip-flop. So most of the time I would tell you, if you have foot pain, you don't want to wear flip-flop, but these actually have a nice arch support, nice cushion, and you can wear them. Really, you could walk a mile in these and be okay.
Yeah, I just want you guys to take a look at this real quick. Look at how thick this shoe is. You can tell it's very comfortable. You're not going to be walking on flat feet at all.
So in addition to Olokai, we've got Vionic flip-flops. That has an even more aggressive arch support.
Yes.
Ladies love those. You can
Oh
check
my
those
gosh,
out.
look at this.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then UFO's recovery sandals. Okay, so
look at the color on this. I love the shimmer.
So
Oh,
those
that's
are really
fun.
squishy. They feel really good.
Yes.
They're actually meant for after you work out. Go for a run, go for a walk,
So
hit the
smart.
gym. You slide into those and it exercises your feet, but it also has a good arch support and cushion.
So smart.
And then last but not least, one of my favorites, You know, we have all these come in men and women's styles, okay? But rainbow flip-flops.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't have the most aggressive arch support, but they are durable, and it's one of those classic beach sandals.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love the little braided part
Yes.
right here. It's
Yes.
very fashionable. I love it.
Yes. So, okay, so this is great, but now we got to talk about some other footwear, like maybe some sandals or some running shoes.
Definitely gotta hit up the running shoes. I know we have a lot of active viewers here on Coast Life, so let's go check that out.
All right, let's do it.
That's right, Coast Life. Look at all these fun, vibrant colors. This definitely gives summer. Tell me about these.
Okay, so running shoes, right? Everybody who wants to be active in the summertime, they want to go for a run, maybe a walk. Well, we sell lots of running shoes, and I always, first of all, anybody can walk in a running shoe, okay? So these running shoes are great for walking and running. Brooks is a great brand, and Hoka is another one we carry. Everybody, they've heard about these maximum cushion shoes. There's lots of cushioning. They're built for different foot types, so we do have to look at your feet and figure out which one is right for you. But there's so many new model updates this season. It's really exciting. This is the new Ghost. What you've got there is the new Bondi.
I love
That's
these.
from Hoka. And then we also have the new Hoka Clifton.
Yeah, let's take a look down here.
Yeah, so I love this new Hoka Clifton. It comes in this nice skyward blue
That
color.
is awesome.
Yeah, we've got a vanilla and a white,
And these aren't just for women, right? You also have these for men?
absolutely. So we carry men's and women's, and great. Go out there and get a run.
Yes.
You know?
Awesome. But I know you guys have a little bit more than shoes. You also have apparel and
I'd
accessories.
like to show you a couple of apparel items.
And I would like to see them. Coast Life, look at how cute this is. But don't worry, men, we're not leaving you out. We also have some men's apparel here as well.
We do, you know, everybody's going out to dinner, maybe they're hitting the bar. We've got lots of fun apparel.
Yes.
Lots of outfits. I love these two shirts from Prana.
I love
You
these
know?
too. The fun prints, the fun patterns, the fun colors. They're awesome.
Summer sweaters,
Yes.
sundresses, a lot of cute stuff.
Yes, and I know you have more than just summer dresses, summer sweaters. We've got your shoes covered, we got your shirts covered, but what about that final missing cherry on top with some accessories?
Oh, I've got stuff to show you.
Yeah, let's check it out. Look at how cute this hat is. It even matches my outfit. Joe, what else do we have here? I'm loving the setup.
Oh, well, have you heard of Turtle Box?
I haven't yet, but you're gonna tell me about it.
Turtle Box speakers, 100% waterproof. They like float in the ocean, actually.
That is awesome.
Durable, the battery lasts forever, and it's loud. I love this speaker.
But what if I don't want one quite this big?
I see how you did that. We've got the smaller version. And
Yes.
So these just came out.
Still
Just got 'em.
waterproof?
Still waterproof, still long battery life, still sounds great.
Awesome, and then what else do you have here?
Listen, we've got all kinds of things for the beach. We've got sunblock. We have sun hats.
Yes, we do.
We have bifocal sunglasses. We have sand cloud beach towels.
Awesome.
And a huge selection of drinkware.
Oh yes, I
Yes.
see this. Look at all the colors.
Yep, Yeti, Stanley, Swig, lots of different options there. We have coolers.
Yes.
So if you're going to the beach or the pool,
Yeah, well, it sounds like
Yes.
Vernon Powell has you covered for all of your summer needs from head to toe, accessories included. But you know what else has you covered? Coast Life. There's more of that on the way.
Well, Coast Life, any chance that we have to help highlight those that help families of military members, we love having the opportunity to do that. And that's why our next guest joining us in studio is Rob Robison with Folds of Honor. And Rob, if you would, just kind of tell us about Folds of Honor in general, what you guys do, and then we'll dive into some of the changes that have happened and some of the programs that you have going on.
Be happy to do so. Folds of Honors was started in 2007 by Lieutenant Colonel Dan Roney. The purpose of Folds of Honor is to provide scholarships to the spouses and children of fallen and disabled veterans and first responders. In the time since the beginning of the foundation, 62,000 scholarships have been awarded.
Wow.
Delaware is now part of the Mid-Atlantic chapter of the Folds of Honor, and the purpose of the golf tournaments, fundraising golf tournaments, they are fundraisers, is to generate additional money for scholarships here on the peninsula.
Fantastic. And yes, you mentioned some golf tournaments, so I know Charlie's ears just perked up.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And just because they're fundraisers doesn't mean that they can't be fundraisers as well. So tell us about these golf tournaments that you have.
There are two scheduled here in Delaware. The first is September 7th at St. Anne's Golf Links in Middletown. The second will be the the Delmarva Folds of Honor Golf Tournament at the Rookery on Veterans Day, 11/11/2025.
It's going to be a really special event.
And so when you guys host these tournaments, how much money are they trying to raise? What is there a number that you guys have set in mind on the front end? Is it just as much as you can get to help as many people? How does that all work?
To be perfectly honest, as much money as we can raise.
Sure.
Now, obviously, there's an expense to running a golf tournament, but every dollar that I send back to the foundation is used for scholarships to the tune of 91 cents per dollar raised.
That's a
and
great
so
number.
we pursue sponsorships. The business community on the peninsula has been wonderful in terms of being sponsors and donating gifts for the raffle. The raffle was very popular last year.
Oh, I bet. Raffles are fun here
Yes,
along
they are.
coastal Delmarva. Like,
Yes,
we
they
do it
are.
right. So Rob, how have you seen maybe, when these folks receive those scholarships, how do you kind of see that affect them and, what they do with that?
A scholarship recipient has a chance to move their life forward. They've already experienced a significant trauma, whether it's the spouse or the parent in their life, and they could fold their tent or they can move forward. And these scholarships are, in a way, a catalyst to helping them move forward.
I love that. So if folks are interested in signing up for these golf tournaments, or if they kind of want to get involved with Folds of Honor in other ways, can they do that?
Absolutely. We welcome all the help we can get. The best way is to reach out to me, Rob Robison at foldsofhonor.org. It's actually rrobison at foldsofhonor.org.
Fantastic.
Now, Rob, what brought you to this? How did you end up wanting to be involved with Folds of Honor?
I had the privilege of serving the Marine Corps for 26 years. I had the privilege of coming home healthy. Not everyone does. And then while I lived in New Jersey, I also had the privilege of working for Ed Walls, a great PGA professional, recognized as the Patriot Golfer of the Year, who ran a number of Folds of Honor events, including golf marathons. When I moved down here to Delaware 3 years ago, there was no organized function here in Delaware. So we got it started.
Fantastic.
I love that. I like that you moved somewhere new, you saw a need, you stepped in, and now as a group, you guys are able to help people, as you say, take a step that maybe they wouldn't have had the opportunity to do without Folds of Honor helping out.
Very true. And just in the first year, we were able to raise enough money for 10 additional scholarships on the peninsula.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, you guys are out there, building these great fundraisers and really helping out those in the community who, they need this. They need this more, and maybe they're a little bit more at risk. They need this.
I actually consider it a privilege to be able to help these families.
Fantastic. Well, Rob, thank you so much for all that you guys are doing for the families of our military and first responders when it comes to these scholarships. And thank you so much for being here on the Coast Life Couch
Well,
today.
thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, one more time before we let you go, where people need to go in order to sign up for those golf tournaments.
They can email me at rrobison@foldsofhonor.org, or simply go to the golfstatus.com page and look up the Delmarva Folds of Honor Golf Tournament.
Perfect. Easy peasy. We'll give you a minute to do that, but when we get back, we know that healthcare is becoming more and more accessible along coastal Delmarva. Our field correspondent, Kendall Gordon, had a chance to check out a ribbon cutting. More details on the way.
You're watching Coast Life with Leah Rizzo and Charlie Sakaitis.
Well, Coast Life yesterday, our field correspondent, Kendall Gordon, had a chance to check out that ribbon cutting for the new BB Healthcare location right there in Long Neck. Just another great way to help serve our community and keep everybody healthy and safe this summer.
Always great to get more new options.
Yeah,
You love to see
exactly.
that. Speaking of options, now that we are firmly into the summer season, we're firmly into the part of the year where people want to be down here on the coast, taking advantage of those great beach days. What is the perfect beach day for you, Leah? What are some of the things that you would want to put into your sort of, this is how I want to construct my beach day, this is what makes it a good beach day?
Yeah, I mean, I think usually for us, the perfect beach day, I've got friends or family with me, like my mom and my sister and I, we're all in sync when it comes to the perfect beach day for us. So you bring a good long book, one that you can sit out all day with, maybe a couple days in a row if you're going to hit the beach multiple times. Good snacks, or at least be within walking distance of good snacks. So you can either hit the boardwalk and get some snacks, or you pack a little cooler and you've got some veggies, a dip. Chips and dip is like one of our favorite simple, easy beach snacks. If there's nobody around, I do like to have a little bit of a good playlist going, but if there's a crowd nearby, I don't mind.
It's your
sitting that
perfect
out.
day. So which do you prefer?
But I prefer to have a little bit of music or
Yeah.
something to do too, because I'm also not like, I do struggle to sit and read all day. I'm going to have to go in the water. I'm going to have to move around, and I might want to like dance around a little bit.
I
about
love
you?
I love those options. I think for me, it's why I like if you can get out there on a weekday or something, because I do like it to be a little less crowded.
Sure.
There's a reason so many people come down there, not telling people not to. We love you. Come down this way, fill our beaches. But when you can get out there with just a little bit more space, like you're talking to, maybe a small group of people. I'm like in
Yeah.
the like 4 to 6 people
Yeah.
range. You know, have a good little staked out area. I want to have a cooler that has some snacks and some beverages in it. And then I want it to be just the right temperature where you could sit out for 25, 30, 40 minutes. Then you go hop in the water for 20 minutes. Then you come back out, you do it all over again. If it's on the smaller side, if it's just my wife and I, then I would like to have, a good podcast or a book or
Yeah.
something to do the same kind of thing. But it's really pretty simple. You want to hear those waves crashing on the beach, maybe a little music, and a small group of friends to really enjoy it with. But we do have some other answers from
Yes,
people that
we
wrote
do.
in on Facebook. I just put this out earlier today, so let's see what they had to say, what their perfect day on the beach would be. One says just no tourists. Hey, I understand. Like I said, you don't
I
always
get
want
it,
it
Allie.
super
I
crowded.
get it.
But I'm a fan of the tourists. Like I said, everybody, come on down, enjoy. We got plenty of coastline. One said nice cool breeze and a clear view. Another said an ice cold Stanley full of flavored water. Also, you want to have sunscreen, a towel,
Yes.
a chair, and a perfect view of the ocean. And somebody said a day without flies is perfect. That
That's
is
a
a
winning
big one.
answer.
I like that option.
For sure. And that's where, like, if you go down to Assateague area, like, camp beachside. If you camp bayside, you're toast. Unless you go with somebody who always gets eaten by mosquitoes, and they're your best chance at being your bug repellent.
I am that person.
The
So
sea breeze might help keep you cool. One of the other things I do love, like another perfect beach evening, which is a little bit of a twist that I love doing in the off season, like especially sort of the local summer in that September,
yeah,
October months.
the shoulder season.
Yes. Beach bonfires, especially in Dewey. You can get your spot reserved and you go in at like usually a little bit before sunset. A lot of times my friends and I, we make the mistake that they're like, we'll get out there just in time to light a fire. And then nobody remembers all of the steps to lighting a fire, and we're like, and now it's dark.
Yeah.
And we can't see what we're doing.
Love a good beach bonfire. And again, I like that small but good group of friends. Have fun, just catch up with people that you've been missing and enjoy the elements. It's just a great way to spend either a beach day or a beach evening.
I think, yeah, the best part about when you do that, and especially if you can, like, just leave your phone for everything except the playlist or a podcast, is like time just stands so much more still when you're at the beach.
Yeah.
Like, you get so much more of a full day, it feels like, out of a beach day than doing anything else, even though you're not doing anything.
It's the difference between vacation and travel. You are vacationing when you're on the beach. You are disassociating from the world.
Yeah, I am.
Just kind of taking a moment, catching up, refreshing, and really connecting with nature as you do it.
All right, well, I'm going to go there mentally for a second while we take a quick break, but we do have some more Coast Life to get to when we get back. We're going to be talking about, if it is hot out there, if your HVAC system needs a tune-up, definitely you want to go with the right contractor. So we're going to talk about those options as well.
This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by Coastal Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning.
Well, we are in the swing of summer here along coastal Delmarva, and maybe you're noticing a couple of issues with your HVAC system. Well, who are you going to go with? We've got Lacey Coleman joining us on the Coast Life couch today. And Lacey, you're with Coastal Comfort. We know you guys are top tier and your customer service is unmatched. But talk to us a little bit about when it comes to picking your HVAC contractor. What are some of the things that people need to be aware of, be on the lookout for, and know that they're picking the right person? Because there's a lot of options.
Absolutely. There's a lot of HVAC contractors and just contractors in general, and it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Sometimes for me, if I'm getting some work done at my house and I'm calling someone, obviously not an HVAC contractor, but first, really important, license and insurance. And companies should be very forthcoming with this information. The insurance protects you as the homeowner. If anything were to happen, certainly nobody would intentionally, make anything happen.
No.
But accidents happen. There's human error all over the place, mechanical, different things.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you are protected if someone is doing any sort of work in your home. That is first and foremost. And also licensing, local and state licensing, especially in Sussex County. Not only do you have your state HVAC license, you also have a contractor's license, and then each individual municipality generally has a permits and licensing process. So the permits, and that is all there to protect the consumer.
Right.
Sometimes the permit process, it can be frustrating. I understand
Sure.
from a contractor perspective, it can be frustrating for us too. Sometimes it takes weeks to get a permit back, but the permits and inspections are there to protect you. So you want to choose a contractor that is going to follow, the law essentially.
Yeah.
So sometimes you think, if a contractor is willing to not, what other steps are they not, following? So it is important to license, the proper licensing, insurance. Licensing, you have to test, to make sure that you have the knowledge in the field, and you want a professional. And if you're paying someone, I imagine you would want it professionally done.
You would think.
And someone that's going to, next is reputation. How long have they been in business? And, a company that's been in business only a year or two, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But longevity definitely proves that, they have good customer service, and they show up, they stand behind their installs or work or whatever the case is. So I think longevity, how long they've been in business, referrals, don't be afraid to ask for referrals and get some feedback from other customers that have experience specifically with those. Heating and air conditioning has always been, a big ticket purchase, but with the last few years, with we've had a lot of regulatory changes within our industry, minimum efficiency changes, refrigerant changes, shortages, you name it. All of the hot topics we see on the news have affected our industry. So it is a significant, and I say investment, because it's an investment in your home and your comfort, and you want to make sure that it's installed properly. A poorly installed heating and air conditioning system can cause a lifetime of of headaches. So you want someone that's has the knowledge of the product that they're installing, and also depending on what type of system you have, do they have knowledge with that, and standing behind the work. So sometimes mistakes do happen, and how a company responds to those, how they stand behind it, are they showing up? So we hear, in the industry sometimes, I called, XYZ company for an estimate, and took them 3 to 4 weeks to get back to me. To me, that's a little bit of a red herring. If it's taking them 3 to 4 weeks to get back to me with an estimate to, install a new system, what kind of service am I going to receive after the sale? So these are types of things for me that I'm keeping an eye on, being in the industry, our response times should be relatively fast, unless there's extenuating circumstances that are explained. But if there's no communication, I think that's really important, is how a company communicates with you throughout these different processes, how they respond to, situations that maybe didn't turn out the best that, we would hope, how we respond to that. And then that, I think, is the true tale of a solid company, a good company, one that you want to partner with. And that's really what buying a new system is. It's a partnership, it's a relationship. You're going to be essentially, married or have a relationship with that customer, you hope, for the duration, at least 10 years or more, until, it's time to install another one.
Exactly. Well, and Coastal Comfort checks all those boxes.
Of course. Yes. I mean, my technicians, we spend a lot of time on, training. Everything that we work on, we have in our training shop. So our technicians are getting experience doing those things. We also pair them up with a more experienced technician once they go in the field. So it's kind of graduated. We're not just, sending
Here
someone.
you go, right.
Exactly. Sending someone out there. We work to have our technicians and our installers NATE certified, which is, aside from your state and local licensing, it's another third party. It's a North American Technician Excellence, so it's a different one. So that's another test that they can take for, just kind of proving your knowledge in the industry.
Another level of certification, yeah.
Absolutely. So all of those, different certifications, all of those different levels prove that you're invested in your team, you're invested in the overall knowledge, and that's the best way. I think our industry is ever changing. So there are differences in contractors, and just sometimes asking questions, digging a little deeper, and don't be afraid to do so.
Yeah.
You as the consumer, you should we're working for you. Yeah, we're working for you, and we want to make sure that you get exactly the experience that you deserve.
Fantastic. Well, Lacey, as always, I can never tell. I feel like I always end up feeling so much smarter after chatting with you. And I'm like, I didn't know how much I didn't know when it comes to, I mean, not only about the HVAC system in general, but also how to pick the right contractor. And I think you covered a lot of ground here. So if maybe you are looking for a contractor, Coastal Comfort is a great option for you because they have all of those boxes checked. And thank you for coming in, Lacey.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Of course. We got some more Coast Life to get to, though. More fun to be had when we get back.
This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by the Spice and Tea Exchange of Rehoboth.
Well, Coast Life on Thursdays, you know we love to get a little dramatic here on the couch with our Spill the Tea segment. Thanks to our friends at the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach. A great time to stop in. They've got their summer teas ready to go, but also grilling season. Hello, they've got great spice mixes for you and some like already assembled mixed packets that you just like dump and go. And
No,
like, great.
it's great. Makes the meal better. Get out there, flip those burgers, the brats, whatever you're doing.
They also have recipe cards too, so you really don't know how much you can cook with tea until you get to the Spice and Tea Exchange, but also their spice selection. But as always, we got to get into the drama. But first, Charlie, what are we drinking today?
Here's what we got today. It's called Florida Sunshine White Tea. Sunshine in a cup with uplifting floral and citrus flavors. This refreshing tea blends perfectly for hot or, like today, iced tea. You know, it's pretty hot out there already for that time of day. We're giving Leah a hard time. She's been promising us iced tea for about 16 months now. So
I have, because you know what else you can find at the Spice and Tea Exchange? Great tea infusers that you can load up and make iced tea the night before. But step one, you got to remember to actually do it. So Charlie, why don't you get to spill in, and I too will get to spill in our drama here.
All right, let's do it.
All right. This comes from a young lady. Is she wrong for saying no to babysitting? We've had similar conversations to this here on the Coast Life couch. Her cousin frequently asks her to babysit on short notice. When she declined last weekend, it was because she had plans. Her cousin got upset and said she wasn't being helpful. What do you think? Is it fair to say no, or should she help where you can? I'm pretty sure we're all going to be in agreement here on this one, but Charlie, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a quick and easy. She's in the right, the cousin's in the wrong. Listen, it's one thing if you can step up and help out on an occasion, but you can't be expected to do it, and you certainly shouldn't be expected to change pre-existing plans to do it. It would be fine if she had just had a long day and was beat and couldn't do it, but she has something going on. Sorry, like she helps where she can. Obviously, she does help out on occasion because it's happened so much that the cousin expected her to do it again here. So she's putting in her part. You just can't take advantage of somebody and make sure and ask them to be doing this all the time. They have their own lives.
I agree, and I think because we are so attached to our phones here all the time, or we're so used to being accessible now 24/7, that I do think it is harder for people to draw boundaries, especially people that have grown up with smartphones. Maybe it's harder to know when to say, you know what, no, I'm good. And I think that just comes with age and experience. But we always turn our tea over to you guys in the comments. Steve says, if she helps out once in a while, be grateful. Which honestly, true. Carol says, of course she can say no. Her cousin can't assume she'll drop everything for them to babysit. Liz says, sometimes people have plans, life happens. You can't always do everything at the drop of a hat. Dawn says, it's her life. She gets to control it. Seems like her cousin needs to get over her own life and get control over that too.
And not to beat a dead horse, but while it does take a village to raise,
Absolutely.
kids and everything like that, again, it's not her kid. She's got her own life, and she's got to be allowed to live that life. She does help out when she can, so she's already doing more than the average person probably would.
Yep.
So you just can't take advantage. And sometimes when you're willing to help out, you are taken advantage of.
Absolutely, and I think especially with family, that slope only gets a little bit slipperier because that is, I think there is sort of this expectation of loyalty to your family that you blood is thicker than water, and you're meant to help out, and you're not being helpful. It's very easy to turn those things against each other, I think, in a familial setting or disagreement.
Yeah, so whatever you guys think, write in, let us know. If you think we're wrong, I'd actually love to hear that opinion.
That's true.
But, I think it sounds like for the most part, the people that wrote into us so far, and both of us here on the couch, have a very one-sided opinion on this one.
I think so. Now I know I'm wearing a little bit of sunshine, but let's sip a little bit of Florida sunshine while we're at it.
I like that.
Well, I can see how that would make a great iced tea. If only we knew somebody who would brew an iced tea.
You know what? I can't lay that all on you. I could have also brewed an iced tea and just have not done that at all. So we'll take another sip of this one though, because this is pretty good.
We're gonna clean these glasses and polish off our tea here. But you can get into the Spice and Tea Exchange on Rehoboth Avenue in Rehoboth Beach and get yourself some of this tea and whatever else you find. But we got a little bit more Coast Life to get to. That's on the way.
Welcome to 10037 Grapevine Road in Mardella Springs. This beautifully maintained home features 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, and a main level office. Enjoy open concept living with stainless steel appliances, recessed lighting, and a built-in sound system, inside and out. The primary suite boasts a walk-in closet with a built-in safe, and upstairs bathrooms have heated and cooled floors. Step outside to a large patio and even a 50-amp camper hookup. This week's Happy Place is sponsored by the Parker Group. This segment of Coast Life is sponsored by Benvenuto.
Nothing makes a day great like having a beautiful meal in front of you. That's what we've got today. As we've got Chef Zeus in from Benvenuto, and Chef, what is this? Because this looks fantastic.
So this is our dish of the week.
That's right.
All right, this is the Coast Life dish of the week at Benvenuto. So remember, if you come in and you say, hey, I saw this on Coast Life, 10% off.
There you go.
And this is our chicken Milanese.
Ooh.
All right. So a lot of people say, well, what's Milanese? What is this style Milanese? So the dish originated in Milan, Italy. All right. And those are the guys and the girls that said, let's pound these cutlets out, get them nice breading on there, get them nice and crispy, and we're going to serve it with a salad. So this is kind of traditional. It's a arugula. This one has some local tomatoes, some peppers, onions.
Nice.
And the dressing is super simple. Lemon juice, olive oil, salt and pepper.
Easy.
That's it.
Fantastic.
That's all you need.
Yeah, anybody can do that at home.
Anybody can make it, you know? So just get a nice, pound it out nice and thin. It's going to cook evenly. Did you ever see the chicken breast? It's thick on this side and it tapers down. If you just cook it that way, that end of that lobe is just going to be rubber by the time it actually cooks. So that's why we like to pound certain things out.
I was going to ask what the point of that was. That makes a lot of sense, though, is that makes it all the way through. You're making sure you get the same level of cook.
Exactly. It cooks evenly.
That's why, because I think part of the reason why a lot of people don't like cooking chicken is because you never know if it's done cooking, and you're like, why is half of this cooked and this half isn't?
Yep, pound it out, and that's it. So it's a really good, simple dish, and it's here for you guys to try. There's some good 24-month Parmigiano Reggiano on here. A lot of people don't know what that is. Like, well, what do you mean 24-month? Well, when this cheese is aged, typically we see 12 to 18 month on the market. We also have a 24 to 36 month. All right, so the difference is the 12 to 18 is going to be softer, it's going to be milder in flavor, where the 24 to 36 month is much more intense, and it just has a lot of flavor. So you'll see when you just taste a little strip of it, I go like, wow, there's so much flavor, intensity in that cheese. So that's what I like to use, the 24 month. Really
and
nice.
cheese, just like a fine wine, you get that extra aging, you get some taste benefits. It really kind of brings out flavor.
Absolutely, and people were like that too.
I hope so, because it's only going one direction.
I mean, you call me crazy, but I feel like I could even smell the cheese. Which,
Yes,
like,
you actually can.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's not me. It's the cheese. It's the cheese. It really is. But look, you can come in, stop in for this. Mention that you saw it on Coast Life. Again, we have a lot of cool things going on every Wednesday and Friday. All right, from actually no, it's all night. So if you come in Wednesday and Friday, all right, and you sit at the bar, all right, in the village of Bulgari. All right, you can get half price full salads and half price flatbreads. And we have some amazing flatbreads on. All right, also Wednesday nights from 4 to 5:30, 3-course, a chicken parm, a 3-course meal for $29.
That's a great deal.
It is. Thursdays we do the same thing with mussels. Fridays we do the same thing with pastas, different pastas. So a lot of cool things going on. The Summer Slaughter Murder Mystery Dinner is coming up in July, right? July 11th. That's going to be a lot of fun. And what's the date for the cigar event?
August 29th.
Wow.
I've got it burned into my brain now.
Right, she is on it. So a lot of cool things coming up. But look, right now, I know you guys are starving.
I know.
Right? It's dinner time, so I want you guys to dig in and just try it out.
Very light. The breading is perfectly crispy. It's very light. It's very summery. And like you said, if you mention Dish of the Week that you saw on Coast Life, you get a little discount.
Yes. Let me tell you guys, because he was was talking about it's a bit of a simple seasoning. It is so perfect for what this meal is. It just really pops in the right way. You gotta try this out, guys, because it's why I'm not talking as much as usual.
Same.
I'm glad you guys are enjoying.
And this is, we'll make an attempt to share what's left of this with the rest of our
That
team,
is not a promise I've made to anybody. That is a Leah promise. I'm going to have a little bit more of this.
We'll fight it out over here. But Chef Zeus, as always, thank you so much for coming
Thank
in.
you guys
Thank
for
you for
having
feeding
me.
us.
Appreciate you both. Thank you so much.
And if you're curious about making this at home, you can tune into our sister show, Delmarva Life. That's where Zeus gets to make this dish, so you kind of see it broken down step by step.
Absolutely.
All right, we do have a little bit more Coast Life to get to. That's on the way. Always a fun show when we get to take a trip to Vernon Powell in Rehoboth Beach, especially a stylish show at that, which our field correspondent Kendall Gordon got to go check out. But we always have so much fun hanging out with you, but the time goes by so fast. Unfortunately, it's time to let you go. Get out of here. Charlie's downstairs getting ready for Coast TV News at 5. That is up next tomorrow. We've got even more fun coming your way. We're going to have our friends from Kids Catch in. Always a great time of year to check in with them, so you've got plenty of ways to keep the kids entertained for the remainder of their summer vacation. But that's on the way tomorrow. For now, we're going to hand things over to Coast TV News at 5. That's up next. Great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow for Friday.